Rishikesh, just put it in presentation mode. Okay, we'll get started now. Very warm welcome to all the parents who've joined us today for this webinar on the importance of early childhood education. I'm KVS Seshasai. I'm the CEO of the preschool business for Lighthouse Learning, and which is our two brands, EuroKids and Kangaroo Kids. Today we'll be talking specifically about our from a EuroKids perspective. Also with me on the panel is the head of our EuroKids curriculum team, Dr. Anita Madan, and we'll get started now. Yeah, just go to the next slide. Yeah. So this webinar is brought to you by EuroKids, which is India's leading early childhood education experts. We've been in the preschool sector now for 21 plus years. We're now spread across 3 countries, India, Nepal, and Bangladesh. And we have more than 1,200 plus preschools across 350 plus cities of India. And we have 5 lakh plus students whose lives we have touched over the last 21 years. Go to the next slide. Now, before we go further down this presentation, I'd like to talk a little bit about the purpose of the EuroKids organization. EuroKids has always believed very deeply in the importance of early childhood education, much before the government came out with NEP in 2020 and put early childhood education front and center. We've been pushing the importance of early childhood education for a very long time. And it's extremely crucial to understand that early childhood education is probably the most important foundational building block from an educational perspective, because this is where the child's brain is getting formed. We have a video on the importance of early childhood education, so let's watch that now. There's no sound, Rishikesh. You'll have to restart it.
You'll have to go back to the presentation mode and share with sound.
Do that, yes. No, not here. When you share on Zoom, it says share with sound. You get a pop-up when you share, right?
That will make some of these babies thrive, while others won't.
Yeah, just restart the video and yeah.
What is it that will make some of these babies thrive, while others won't? What will make some of these toddlers go on to college and pursue rewarding careers or fulfill their professional aspirations, while others might have to settle for a lot less? Is it a matter of fate, money, intelligence? Is it luck, hard work, genetics? Is it a question of education? What happens in the first few years of life before formal schooling begins helps to lay the foundation for future success. What children experience even before they learn how to talk increases their chances of reaching their full potential and might be the key to creating better societies for everyone. And the secret lies in the most unsuspected place, our young brain.
If you're seeing, if you're hearing, if you're feeling, and if you're deciding, if you're thinking, if you're reading, etc., this is your brain in action.
During our early years, the brain is optimized for learning and is capable of extraordinary change. No wonder a baby brain can create more than 1 million new neural connections every single second. They say practice makes perfect, and that is exactly what the brain does. Every time we learn or experience something new, it detects a change, and that change forms connections, which help build the foundation of a powerful brain. The connections that are not used repeatedly are lost. During the early years, when the brain is at its most active, is when the roadmap of our lives is first designed. Although change is possible as children grow, science is proving that getting it right from the beginning is the best opportunity we have to increase our chances of happiness and success.
Children are natural learning machines. They are born ready to learn. They already have learned some things, even in utero.
The first 3 years of life, I think, are the magical years for intervention, because the changes that we facilitate then can last for the rest of the child's life and of the parent's life and create a new way of relating.
A really good, solid early childhood education foundation are more likely to continue their education when they leave high school. They're more likely to go to college. They are 4 times more likely to graduate from college. They are more likely to get highly skilled jobs that pay more. They are actually healthier as adults.
Because none of us can remember our lives before we were 2 or 3 or 4, depending on when your first memory is, it's easy to think that there's nothing happening in there. The idea that we would think about learning as something that doesn't happen until you're 5 or 6 just doesn't make sense scientifically.
And so kindergarten prep begins in the crib, begins at birth, begins with the parents' knowledge of what their contribution is going to be to the baby's brain development. Because a brain has to be built. It comes ready to learn, but it's not built yet.
While some of these children may thrive and others might not, we now know that the experiences they are exposed to and the skills they acquire early on truly matter for the brain's development. The early years are an unrepeatable opportunity to improve their chances of happiness and success, and the best way to help them fulfill their dreams, whatever they may be.
So as this video shows in such high level of detail, early childhood education is probably the most important educational building block for a child's life. Just go to the next slide. Yeah. So, and this is not based on some anecdotes or some stories, but this is based on research which has happened over 40 to 50 years, where researchers have put children through a very scientific early childhood education program and seen how they have developed over 30, 40 years and compared them with children who've not had the benefit of an early childhood education program. And as the video says, it leads to multiple life benefits, better language development, better social skills, fewer behavioral issues, lesser disciplinary issues, their attention spans are better, they are better in social situations, they achieve their development milestones faster, they are more likely to graduate with high grades and get highly skilled jobs. So if there are so many benefits of putting your child through an early childhood education program, then it almost becomes mandatory that parents have to put their child in to a preschool at the earliest opportunity that they can get. You go to the next slide. So just go back one slide, please. Yeah. So at this point in time, a lot of parents are thinking about where to put their child in, right? Should I put my child into a neighborhood preschool? Should I put my child into a main school? Now, typically, there are advantages of putting your child into a neighborhood preschools like EuroKids, and we'll talk about it a little bit now, right? Let's go to the next slide. Now, we've seen very often that in main schools, the teacher-child ratio can be as high as 1:30 or even 1:40. Yeah. Whereas in EuroKids, realizing the importance of early childhood education, we make sure that there is very, very personalized attention given to each and every child. We limit our class size to not more than 20 children, and there will be 2 teachers in each class, which means that you have a teacher-child ratio of 1:10. Yeah. So that one-on-one guided attention, right, and the peer interaction which happens in a small group leads to accelerated learning for the child, right? It also leads to accelerated development of various developmental milestones. What you must also understand, parents, is that when you look at how the learning journey progresses for a child, there are 2 very, very important relationships. The first relationship is the relationship between the teacher and the child, right? And if you have a small teacher-child ratio, we have seen that much stronger bonds get formed between the teacher and the child, and hence the child gets the desired attention and develops faster. But just imagine you put your child into a main school where the teacher-child ratio is 1:30. I doubt that there will be any meaningful bond that will get formed between the teacher and the child. And hence, you will not necessarily see the kind of development that you'd expect to see in your child after sending him or her to a main school. Yeah. Let's go to the next slide. Also, the entire program at EuroKids is completely customized to the age group of 2 to 6, right? And we are not looking at EuroKids, especially, we're not looking at doing anything which is relevant to children from grades 1 to 12, for instance, right? So, and because the foundational building block, because the education between the ages of 2 to 6 is very different from the education that you give in the primary section and in the middle school and the high school, everything that is inside a EuroKids preschool is fully customized to the experience. So our infrastructure is age appropriate, our toys, our manipulatives, our curriculum, everything is fully customized and completely targeted for the age group of 2 to 6, right? So on the left-hand side, you'll see a picture of children sitting on the floor. Now, in playgroup and nursery, where children are between the ages of 2 to 4, we do not make our children sit on chairs because they are not yet physically developed to sit for 2 to 3 hours on a chair, right? They can sit for short periods of time. So we don't force them to sit on in chairs. We have a very hygienic, very child-friendly flooring, which is specially created for children of this age group, and we make sure that that is age appropriate. Whereas in main schools, very often you'll see that even the youngest of children are made to sit in formal furniture, which they're not yet ready for, right? Similarly, the infrastructure, the play area, the toys, the manipulatives, everything that goes into the school is specially designed from the point of view of the age group 2 to 6, which you will typically not find in a regular main school. Go to the next slide. And in EuroKids, our entire curriculum is built around structured peer interaction, and there is a lot of mindful learning built into our preschool curriculum, right? And we don't put pressure on our children from a learning perspective, because this is not the age where you give marks to children, or whether you are looking at them from a content-based perspective. What you're looking at them at this point in time is to help them on their development journey, be it physical development or mental development or socio-emotional development. And the teachers become great, facilitators and make sure that the children enjoy their learning journey and keep moving towards becoming more and more independent and begin to enjoy what they're doing. Whereas typically main schools have content-based exam, and they have a very rote learning approach to the whole education. Okay? So that's the big difference between coming to a EuroKids and putting your child into a main school. Go to the next slide. And there is a huge emphasis on holistic development, right? Even the video spoke about the neural connections getting formed, the rapid rate of development of the child's brain. Now, it's not just from an academic perspective that the child's brain develops at this age, but it is from a socio-emotional perspective, it is from a physical perspective, and it is from a life skill perspective, and it is from a cognitive perspective also. So our curriculum is specially designed to make sure that there is a very judicious mix of all the various facets of the child's development, which is included in our holistic curriculum. Whereas what we've seen in main schools and typical K-12 schools is that there is a lot of focus on academic development, right? There's a lot of focus on reading, writing, speaking. We also have a lot of focus on reading, writing, and speaking, but that is not the only focus that we have, right? We want to make sure that the children coming out of EuroKids are confident, are articulate, and can speak for themselves, right? Just go to the next slide. So in conclusion, at EuroKids, what you will get is a very strong and customized preschool curriculum, child-friendly ambience, and very personalized attention to help your child, develop in a holistic manner and make a very smooth transition to grade 1. In fact, in a lot of cities where we have multiple EuroKids, main schools are very happy to take the EuroKids children into grade 1, because these are the children who are, do much better than their peers who come from, either the same school, or they have come from, a different preschool kind of an education, which is not so scientifically designed. So, and over and above that, we also have comprehensive safety protocols. We have very highly qualified and intensively trained staff. And we also, because we have such a large spread, we give you the benefit of intercity student transfer. Go to the next slide, please. Let's spend a couple of minutes talking about safety. You're going to put your child, your baby, your child into a preschool. You want to be sure that the preschool is absolutely safe. Now, safety is not something which you test once a year or once in 6 months, or once in a quarter. Safety is something that is to be maintained on a daily basis, right? So we follow very stringent safety protocols with all our preschools. We have CCTV surveillance and constant monitoring of the entire area of the preschool, right? We strictly adhere to all the safety regulations through all the statutory bodies, be the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, ICMR, WHO, especially now with having suffered with COVID in the last 2 years. We've upped our safety standards, and in terms of hygiene, in terms of cleanliness. We also do 360-degree safety certifications and regular safety inspections at all our centers. We make sure that our staff are background verified and trained with rigorous background checks. We undertake regular drills for emergency preparedness and crisis management. So it's not just about COVID. It could be about if there is a fire in the vicinity of the preschool, if there is nowadays this big phenomena of, in the rainy seasons, streets getting flooded, suddenly, you're not able to drive on the streets. So what do you do in these kind of situations, right? And our centers are trained from an emergency preparedness and a crisis management perspective. And of course, we do ensure regular sterilization of toys, infrastructure, classrooms, and the play area. The objective is to make sure that we provide a very, very safe environment for your children, because this is the first time they could possibly be away from home, and also for our own staff. Go to the next slide. Yeah. We'll talk a little bit now about Eunoia, our, the preschool curriculum for EuroKids. And I'd like to hand it over to Dr. Anita Madan, the head of our curriculum team.
Thank you, Sai. Good evening, parents. By now we are very sure that the brain development happens at the age of 0 to 6. So I'm sure all of you are geared up in getting your child admitted into a preschool. Whether it is EuroKids or any other preschool, it's very important for the child to get into a preschool as early as the child is ready to, maybe 18 months, maybe 2 years, or maybe a mom and me toddler program or something, because that's where the child gets the exposure to the right environment. So I'm going to take you through what is so special about EuroKids. That's the curriculum Eunoia. Eunoia means the beautiful mind. So we are focusing on developing a beautiful mind for the child. But since it's a holistic program, we also talk about developing the mind, the body, and the soul. I call the curriculum a very mindful curriculum because we have a lot of focus on the children to be there in the present. The next slide. As I spoke about holistic curriculum, we focus on the mind, that is the IQ, the cognitive domain, the body, that is the physical domain, the psychomotor domain, and the soul, that is the affective domain. Over the pandemic now, a lot of people have kind of understood the meaning of social emotional learning, why it is so important for the child to be socially strong and emotionally strong. But we've been doing that even pre-pandemic. So we've been focusing a lot on the EQ quotient of the child, which is the emotional quotient. I'll take you through all these subjects in the next slide. Next slide, please. So when I say we are developing the cognitive domain, that means we are focusing a lot on passing on the knowledge. The knowledge of the letters is passed on through the euphonic program, which is the sounding of the letters. We teach them not by rote learning the letters and reading them. We teach them by sounding of the letters. So each letter has a sound. Like I say cat, it is k-at. Now, if the child is aware of the sounds of the letters, he can read any words very easily. So that's how the phonic program goes. We do not focus on rote reading and reading by heart and learning and doing that. The next program is the math lab program. This is also done through hands-on experiences where we are focusing on giving them concrete objects to understand the abstract numbers. So I believe this is a lot of foundation learning that the children do, where they actually understand the value of the numbers, what is one-to-one correspondence, what is understanding the number. All these are done during our math lab activities, which is completely hands-on. Then we talk about the scientific thinking. I would like to say that we are creating scientists. Now, how do we create scientists? Is we give them an opportunity to think. We give them an opportunity to predict. We ask them what do you feel is right and wrong. So we do not give them the answers, and we do also teach them that there is no one correct answer for a question. So we teach them to think out of the box. We teach them to think beyond what we are talking about. We also ask them to, ask questions why. So we're making them curious. We're making them good learners. The child who is curious will definitely want to learn more. So that's about the knowledge section. That's the cognitive domain, the mind. Then we move on to the body. EuroKids is the only preschool chain that has tied up with Health at Go, that is a ISO certified company who is making curriculum only for the preschoolers. See, for us, healthy habits is something which we need to instill right in the early age. And this is the program which focuses a lot on the mind to muscle connection. So it's not only that the body is getting fit and active, but there is a connection. So all those activities which are designed by international trainers who work with Health at Go company. So it's very focused on doing the physical activities in the right manner. Then we have the Yoga Kids, which is again designed by a specialized yoga trainer who does only for kids. So Yoga Kids in school. Again, it is done in a very scientific method, in a very playway method. We are doing stories, we are doing rhymes, we are doing activities which then lead the child to the poses. So if, for example, I'm doing a cat and a dog story, I take them through the cat pose and the dog pose. So the child can relate to the animal also and relate to the pose also. It's very important for young children to be involved in themselves, being aware of themselves, being aware of their breath. So that's where we are focusing a lot on their concentration, their breath, being with themselves, not always getting distracted. So yoga really helps them to do a lot of focus along with fitness and fun. Then we go to the soul, the social emotional learning. We're doing a Euro music session, which really wants the child to be engaged with their soul. So it's like, very rhythmic, very play based. It has lyrics which are which help develop the language, which also develops the executive function in children. So there's a lot of focus on rhyme, rhythm, beats, also the language. And we have a tie-up with Sing Play Love, which is a US-based company, and Ann Meeker is the PhD in music, so she literally lives music. Then we have the Mindful Plus is a session which we have tied up with Fatima Khaidar, and we are focusing on developing children to stay in the present. As adults, you and me are either in the future or in the past. So we are training our children, right, to be in the present, in the moment, focusing on the task that is there in their hand. This also helps them to manage their emotions and improve their concentration. So this feels like, we're teaching them something which is very high level, but we are teaching them with smaller activities which the children can relate to. Also, this will make them happy and healthy and successful human beings when they grow up. So this is like, sowing the seeds too soon so that we can reap out better benefits later. So that's about the curriculum which talks about the mind, body, soul. Then how interesting is a day at EuroKids? A day at EuroKids is full of activities which are passive, active, small group, large group. You can go to the next slide. So if you see, there's a lot of focus on a lot of activities where we are taking the children. So not just one activity, we have circle time, we have readiness, we have a lot of things which the children are doing. So there is a focus on all different learners. The next slide. This is a little brief on all the activities that I mentioned along with their time and duration. You can go to the next slide. The preschoolers are for the 3 hours and the kindergartners are 4 hours. Apart from this, I also say I have a lot of exciting programs because we are not only focusing on children learning along with the teacher, but also children learning along amongst themselves. So peer interaction is one of the program that the children learn. So we have kind of guided activity where the children are left by themselves and they can converse and teach each other. So there's like good 25 minutes interaction session that we have. Also, we have tied up with the UN Nations 2030, which is working towards the sustainable development goals. Ours is the only preschool in India who's focusing on developing early years goals. So we are teaching them the values of respecting the Mother Earth right from the young age. Being safe is another very important program that we are talking about, where we want our children to be independent by themselves. They should know what is right, what is a good touch, what is a bad touch, what is good for them, how they should have to protect themselves. They may not be always along with adults. And there's another program called Time for Reading, which is focused on the Maria Montessori method, where we ask the children to play with interactive cards while they are reading. So each child is at their own pace, and this helps them to become avid readers. Yeah, the next slide. It's not only about the program, it's about the kits that the children get. I usually see a big smile on the children when we give them these goodies. That's the reason I call it the happiness box, which includes a welcome kit, which is part of the curriculum that happens into the classroom. The readiness kit is something which we give the parent at the time of admission, so that he can work with the child on the finer motor skills, the pincer grips. Takeaway school is the activities that they do in school along with the teacher, post every theme for reinforcement. We also have a takeaway home where we focus on the child doing the activity along with the parent. Theme kit is given after every theme. And then we also have the Euro music kit, which has 3 reading books, which is a read-along books that the children can read along with their parents. So that's the entire happiness kit that we give the children during the entire year. The next slide. These are part of the welcome kit that I just spoke about. The books, the cards, the honor badges. The next slide. We also have multiple shifts that we are making available to our parents and our children. We've noticed that a lot of children are not early risers and they are late risers. So this is one benefit that we want to give them. I remember my son telling me after school got over, Mom, I was always a evening child and a night child, and you made me wake up all my life for school in the morning. And I see him more active during the evenings than in the mornings. So to cater to such children, we have late morning shifts. We have also shifts for the parents who are working with the UK, US timings, who really wake up late and sleep late in the night. Also parents who have businesses who work late in the night. So you don't have to really rush up at 6 and 7 in the morning to get your child to school. So we have started offering convenience multiple shift timings for the parents as well. The next slide. This is a little glimpse of the timings where the playgroup nursery, we have 3 shifts in a school, and the kindergartners, because it's a 4-hour school, we have 2 shifts in the school. I always believe that the engagement happens beyond the classroom as well. So it's not only inside the 4 walls that the child is learning. The child spends only about 3 to 4 hours in the school, but he spends about 16 hours away, or 16 to 20 hours away from the school. And that's where most of the learning of the child happens. And we also offer the Home Buddy app, the next slide. For the children who are spending more time at home than at school, which is a constructive engagement along with their parents. We have a lot of activities, if you see on the next slide, which takes you, okay, there's a video which will give you a glimpse on how the Home Buddy looks. So I've seen parents handing over their mobile phone to the children to keep them engaged when they want to do something on their own. And that's what the YouTube that they give the child, and just leave them there. But what I believe is this is something which is very curated, which is from the expert's hand, which gives you, if you go on the next slide, you'll see the benefits of doing the Home Buddy app rather than the other offhand channels that the parents prefer, because these are all designed specifically right for their age group. So if you see, there is interactive picture talk, read along stories, everything is theme based. We also have yoga, Eurofit in that. There are games which give you a real time progress. If the child is playing a game, the parent knows the learning outcome that the child has achieved, how well the child knows the concept, how well the child knows the activity. It gives you the entire analytics for the day, for the week, for the month. So, even if the child is engaging on the app, it's very, very constructive. If you see, we also have parent corner where the parent have given few parenting tips that the parent need. We have all the school information going from here. Very soon we would also upgrade it where you could communicate with the teacher, with the admin, the franchise partner. You could talk about your leave notes. So we have the whole lot of features here, which is very, very constructive engagement with the school, with your child. The next slide. That's the breakup for the age group that we are catering to. So we have 4 programs: playgroup, nursery, junior and senior, preschoolers and kindergartners. You can see if your child fits into which program by the age group that's mentioned there. The next slide. Okay, now parents who have missed putting their child in the academic year last year. So we also are offering an integrated program, which is a 15-month program. So you could walk up to the nearest preschool and take the admission today for the integrated program, which would be Jan, Feb, March, and maybe part of April, and then which would have continued regular schooling from the next 12 months in the program that the child is due for the next entire academic year. So we made it easy so that you don't have to wait till June, or April, whichever region you are, to wait for the academic year to begin. You don't have to waste another 2 months or 3 months so that your child is without education. Please make use of the brain development and the right time of education, right time to get your child into a preschool right now. The next slide. That's the procedure for the admission. You can attend you can fill in the admission form. You can do the parent orientation program. The partners will, the center head would hand over the happiness kit to you, and that's the batch starting time for you. The next slide. We also are offering an open house because a lot of parents really don't know how a preschool feels, how it looks, what will your child learn. So this is an open house opportunity that we are offering, where we are, advising the parents to go and spend some time in the preschool along with your child. So the session for the preschoolers is 1 hour 45 minutes. The session for the kindergartners is 2 hours, where you along with your child can go, interact, play, experience few of the activities that the child is going to go through throughout the year, and feel very comfortable and confident on what your child is going to learn throughout the year. So it's not that we are asking you to just take admission. You can attend one of the open houses on any of these Saturdays. Feel comfortable about what your child is going to experience in the entire academic year. The next slide. We open to question and answers. You can put in your question answers in the Q&A, and then we are ready to answer them.
Yeah, before we get into Q&A, I'll just like to add that, given our experience in the preschool sector for the last 20 plus years, we've seen many parents sometimes take a view that I don't want to put my child into a playgroup program or a nursery program because they feel the child is just going to go and play in a preschool for 2 to 3 hours. Right? Yes, the children do go and play. It looks like play, but through the process of play, and there are also very structured, scientifically designed interactions that we put the children through, which really make them develop across all aspects of their personality. So do not underestimate the value of putting your child into a preschool from the ages of 2 onwards, right? It's very important that you put your child in at the earliest and not wait and only think of putting your child into a preschool when you start feeling that if I don't put my child into a preschool now, how will he or she be ready for grade 1? Because the importance of preschool education and the value that you get from a preschool education far outstrips the readiness for a grade 1. It goes far beyond that. There are life benefits of a preschool education, and hence I think it is highly advisable that you put your child into a preschool at the first opportunity that you get, starting from the age of 2 itself. Moving on to the question and answer, someone's typed in a question from a Samsung phone. I don't know the name of the person. They're asking for fee structure for LKG. If you want to find out the fee structure, it varies across cities to cities and across the country because we have a very large spread. There is no standard fee structure for LKG. My recommendation would be that you reach out to your nearest EuroKids, speak to them, and they will share the fee structure with you. Riddhi Jain is saying, I have inquired at 2 locations of EuroKids, but they do not adhere to 1:10 ratio. Instead, they follow 2:25 or 2:30 ratio. Please explain. So Riddhi, 1:10 doesn't mean that there will be a class of 10 children. I think I mentioned in the slide when I was talking about the student-teacher ratio that we typically limit the class size to 20 children and there will be 2 teachers, which means that's how the student-teacher ratio is 1:10. Sometimes what happens is that suddenly the school will get, some extra admissions in very short notice. So the class size can go up to 24 for a short period of time. And then when more children get added, then we take out the 10 children and put them into a separate batch or a separate section, right? Sometimes, if the class size goes up to 24, we will still maybe maximum will go to 1:12. But as far as possible, we try and stick to the 1:10 ratio. So 1:10 ratio basically means 20 children and 2 teachers. Yeah. There's a question from an anonymous attendee in Whitefield. How many branches are there? The answer to that question is very simple. Just go to Google, type in EuroKids in Whitefield, and you'll get the addresses and the locations of all the EuroKids centers that we have in Whitefield. Dakshit Mitran is asking, what are the strategies followed by EuroKids for the development of emotional behavior? Eager to know that.
So there is not one strategy that we follow. There are multiple. So there's a whole course that we do. So the sessions that we do for mindful learning, where we are asking the child to be focused on themselves, becoming aware of themselves. So that would help them to be emotionally strong, be aware of themselves. The yoga sessions that we do, the rhyme session that talks about emotional building, peer interaction. So there's no one single session that I can say, okay, this session will be equivalent to this output. Emotional building is something that it is a long driven procedure and it takes a lot of time and a lot of activities and a lot of people involved that help building the child emotionally strong. So yes, we do a couple of them to make them emotionally strong.
Rajiv Barua asking, do we have any dress code for playgroup? Yes, Rajiv. When you get the happiness kit from the center on taking admission, included in the happiness kit is 3 t-shirts that we give for the playgroup children. And that's what they're supposed to wear to school. Madhavi Lata Ayagiri is asking, is Euro Music kit given to every kid?
So again, this is kind of optional for few centers who've not taken the kit, but you can check with your center whether those kits are available with them or not.
Okay. Anusha Deshpande is asking, is it a mobile app? Yes, Anusha, HomeBuddy is a mobile app. Yeah, it's available both on iOS as well as Android.
We have a web version also to that, so it's mobile and web both.
Yeah, mobile and web both. Typically, we've seen most parents use it on the mobile because it's easy for the child to handle the mobile phone. I just like to add around HomeBuddy, saying that we don't expect you to give HomeBuddy to the child and expect the child to independently spend 2 to 3 hours on the app on a daily basis. right? That's not the objective of home buddy at all. We've been through multiple experiences with parents where parents say, how do I meaningfully, spend time with my child at home? And again, a common question from parents is, when I ask my child, how was school today? They will get a very monosyllabic answer like good, or I had fun, or something like that, right? So when you log into Home Buddy, you get what is called today's schedule, right? So what we expect you to do on a daily basis is spend 30 to 45 minutes with your child going through the day's schedule. So, and the content that has been put into Home Buddy mirrors the content that has been taught inside the classroom on the same day, right? So what it will show is, for instance, if letter R was taught inside the classroom, the play section will have a couple of videos around letter R. It will have some, and then the do and the C section will have some activities and some, games that the child can play. We recommend that the parents sit along with the child whenever they find the time and go through the daily schedule. So the parent also understands what the child is learning in school, and they have a much better view of the learning journey of the child, rather than just asking the child, what did you do in school today, and not getting a clear answer. Yeah. Aarti Kothari is asking, my daughter is 2 years old. Can I opt for nursery, as she would be 2 years, 4 months in June?
So I would suggest, Aarti, that you can opt for the integrated program, which starts right from Jan to April, which will take care of the PG part of it. And then from June onwards, the child would get into the nursery section.
Okay. Priyanka Kumari, branches in Whitefield. Priyanka, I've already answered the question. Please go to Google and type in EuroKids in Whitefield, and you will get all the details. Yeah. Can you please share the link of session recording with the audiences over email? This session will be available on the EuroKids YouTube channel. Yeah, we will not be sharing this over email. You just have to go to the EuroKids YouTube channel and it will be available. Can we only opt for the home kit? That is a question from Aarti. Aarti, preschools have opened up, right? And we've seen that the best learning that the child will get is not only between the parent and the child, but also the child interacting with peers. So I think the best thing to do is to send your child to the nearest EuroKids and give him or her the entire full experience of the preschool education. Shiv Dayal is asking, how much is fee for play class in Bangalore region? I think you mean playgroup. Shiv, in Bangalore region, again, we don't have a specific fee point for all the, which is common to all the preschools. Please reach out. You can put an inquiry on our website in the admission section. Someone will reach out to you and let you know what the playgroup fees is. Anupama is asking, books you follow are from whom?
So we do not follow any publisher. We design our own books. They are our own IP, and we do not believe in taking content from outside. We decide what is age appropriate, and a lot of research goes on in what is right to teach the child. So we also part of the NACI, that's the National Association for Educating Young Children, which is the part of the US organization from where all our researches and learnings come from. So we do not take any published books from any publishers in India.
Okay. Milan Kumar Sahu is asking, what are the things parents should do at home for kids in playgroup nursery so that it will be beneficial for their growth? So I'll answer it in two parts. First part is around the whole home buddy piece. So once you put your child into EuroKids, you will get access to home buddy. You can spend time on home buddy along with your child on a daily basis. We also have activities which is part of the happiness kit, which you can do along with the child, which maybe Anita can talk about.
So even on the home buddy, we have one section where we have given activities for parents to do with their child, and these are the life skill activities, like how does a child lay the table at home? What are his responsibilities? So we've given these smaller activities for the parent and the child to engage together. We also have the takeaway home that we expect the parents to do along with the child. There are a few stories that we expect the parents to read from the home buddy app. Apart from that, we also tell the parents a few things during the PTM, what the child is weak at, or what the child needs a little bit of your help and strengthening. So there are a couple of things that we believe the parents can be a part of the learning journey, because we focus a lot on the triangle, the teacher, the child, and the parent. So all three become the part of the child's learning journey.
Okay. Shubham Kumari is asking, do you provide any learning kit for home? So I think Dr. Anita Madan just answered it. We don't do what is called a homeschooling kit now, because preschools have opened up and we'd love for children to come and study in the preschool. But there are parts of the happiness kit which go home, and you can do it along with your child at home. Anupama Mishra is asking, how many books are there in the senior group? I think she's talking about senior KG.
Yeah, so there are a lot of books for the senior KG because they are getting ready for the primary school. So we have 8 books, which are the theme books. Every month, one book goes, one activity book, which the child has to do at home. We also have notebooks, Hindi workbooks that go home. So we also focus a lot on getting them ready to write, because they're going to go into the primary section. So senior KG does have a couple of extra books than the other programs.
Okay. Anuba Samaria is asking, can I enroll my kid who has not turned 18 months into EuroKids?
So, Anuba, very soon we are going to come for a program for your child, which we'll announce a bit later. But you can, a playgroup we take 20 months, that is 1 year, 8 months. So you'll have to just wait in for a little. But there are a lot of activities that you could do with your child at home, because that's also very important, because we don't want the child not to be engaged into the activities. So show him some reading books, show him some toys, play with him, let him make blocks, let him do smaller things at home which do not require too many things.
Okay. Payal Debnath is asking, what is the timing for playgroup? So I think Dr. Anita answered that question. Timing for playgroup is it's a 3 hours program, and we are currently offering 2 morning batches, an early morning batch and a late morning batch. Yeah. Now, broadly, the early morning batch will start at 8 to 11, and the late morning batch will start at around 11:30, but you can check with your nearest center on the exact timings for the playgroup batch. Rajiv Barua says, my child is 2 years old and not learnt language properly. Is it possible to admit her to playgroup?
Very important, because the child is not speaking at home. So it's very important for him to interact with more people, hear more language. So the first thing of speaking is listening. So a lot of listening has to happen, and that will happen in an environment where there are more children, more adults, more teachers. So please enroll your child so that he listens more, and only then he can speak.
Atul Pandey is saying, is there any specific curriculum given to each and every preschool on daily basis? Is the same curriculum work for every tier city?
Yes, we do have a specific curriculum for all of them. So we give them all details so that there's standardization as well. And something which is so research, we want all of them to get benefited.
Namrata Lokesh is asking, my son will be 3.6 years old in June 2023. Will he be eligible for nursery or LKG?
LKG. He'll be eligible for LKG. But again, I would say join him into the integrated LKG program so that he does a little bit of the nursery in the 3 months that we have in hand, and then he can get into the lower KG. Don't wait till June to get him into the lower KG.
Aarti Kothari is asking, will the integrated program not affect the school admission age?
See, the integrated program starts in Jan. So it is a 3 months program, which is Jan, Feb, March, or maybe it can go up to mid-April. Schools ideally start in June if you are in the north, in the west and the south, and April if you're in the north. So we will complete the integrated program before the new academic year starts. For children who have not attended school, this is a kind of a readiness thing for them to get set with the routine setting, to know what the school is all about, so that they don't have the stranger anxiety and they do not spend too much time settling when they go to school. So this 3 months will have multiple benefits to their development. Routine setting would happen, learning would happen. They would get used to something like going to school, getting up in the morning. So please don't waste these 3 months with the children.
Okay, Deepak Raina is asking, do you provide in-house meals? Deepak, no, we do not provide in-house meals. And there's a reason for that. Very difficult to cater to each and every child's dietary requirements. So I think the simplest thing that we recommend parents do is send a tiffin box for the child. And of course, what we then teach the child inside the classroom is how to eat on their own. The independence of eating comes with sitting with their peers inside a classroom. They see the other children eating on their own and they learn to eat on their own.
Also, we give them suggestions. So we have Monday, this fruit day, Tuesday, this with this wheat day or something, so that the children start eating everything. So we ask the parents to follow the suggestion that we provide them during the PTMs.
Yeah, so that's a very important point that Dr. Anita Madan has just spoken about. And it also ensures that, it takes the thinking out from the parents' mind around what to give the child on a daily basis. What curriculum is followed for the KG kids?
So the preschool doesn't come under the ICSE or CBSE boards. We don't have a specific curriculum name for the preschoolers because it's not, we don't have a government body who's regulating the preschool, but we have our own curriculum, which we call it as a mindful curriculum, which is done and developed after a lot of research. And we've seen that it works really well. And we also upgrade our curriculum every 4 years to cater to the newer generation needs and to cater to the newer things that are being researched on for the children to develop better.
Mohua Mukherjee is saying, my child will be 3 years, 5 months in June. Should I join him in LKG?
Ideally, we say 3 years, 6 months, but you can go to the center and check. Probably you could do that for Euro Junior.
Okay, Aarti has a rejoinder. My question was that school admission age is 3.6 years for junior KG. And if I opt for integrated, the age would still be 3.4 years. Then how will the integrated course help?
So the integrated program would have a lot of nursery for your child. So it would be a prep to the junior KG. So it would do a lot of things that the child at the nursery level will do. So we will not start anything that the child has to learn for the junior KG.
Okay. Priya Jaiswal is asking, what about toilet training of children? So toilet training of the children, I know that when the PG children come in, a lot of them will be in diapers. And we do have teachers and DDs who make sure that the children are taught to, get toilet trained, in the sense that, they will reach out to the DD when they feel like they need to go to the washroom. And just by watching the other children also, they learn the whole toilet training process. Anything you'd like to add there, Anita, on toilet training?
Also, the children learn when they see the others going. So yes, as he mentioned, children will be coming to school in diapers, and very soon, while looking at their peer, and if the routine is set, they also get the routine to do their toilet training also. So that routine also gets set. So then children start finishing their morning jobs in the morning once their routine is set. So very important for them to set that, and we have DDs and IAs to help them to clean themselves.
Okay. Bharanidharan says, my kid will be 2 in the next 20 days. What do you suggest? So if your kid's going to be 2 in the next 20 days, Bharanidharan, then you will have to put your child into the playgroup program. That would be the perfect program for your child. Yeah. Are there any progress cards for preschoolers?
Yes. So what we do is we give you a daily progress to the app. We give you the theme-wise progress to the app. And at the end of 2 months, we have a progress achievement card that we give, which is assessing 8 weeks of the program. which comes to you 4 times in a year. So you know exactly how your child is doing during the 2 months that the child has been in school.
Aarti Kothari says her question is still unanswered. Will I get the admission in school despite of the age being 3.4 years?
Yes, ma'am, you would get the admission in school in June. If you put him into the integrated junior program, he will do 2 or 3 months of nursery, and in June he'll be in junior KG.
Yeah, but the integrated program is a 15-month program. So I don't think you should see the integrated program saying that I'll put my child into EuroKids for 2 months and then I'll take my child out and put him into a different school. That's not the way the integrated program is designed. The integrated program is designed for parents who either missed out on schooling in the current academic year or who feel that the child is ready to go to school and may not necessarily want to wait till April or June till the start of session. So there you put your child into the preschool right now. So the child goes through the settling period. They get rid of the separation anxiety. They start their learning journey. And if they're going, let's say, to LKG in the next year, then they will be put into the nursery class this year. They'll go through 2.5 months of nursery and then automatically get promoted to the nursery next year, to LKG next year. The same with the playgroup children. They will get promoted to nursery come April or June. So the thought behind the integrated program is that you don't have to wait till April or June to put your child into the preschool. Yeah.
Madhvi has a question on EuroMusic. Yes, ma'am, we did have a mother and a child session that we used to do earlier. We stopped that currently due to the pandemic, but yes, you can still check with the center. Some of the Saturdays, they might just have a EuroMusic session for you also. You can check with the center.
Anita R is asking, my daughter will be completing 2 years in April. So when can I join her for playgroup? I think
April itself. Yeah.
Immediately you can join her in playgroup. Yeah. Atul Pandey is saying, is there any specific difference between EuroKids and other preschool like Kidsy and London Kids? So I think the one big difference that I see between EuroKids and any other preschool out there is that we are currently on the 7th iteration of our curriculum, right? We refresh our curriculum, and it's not that we make small or minor changes to our curriculum. We overhaul our curriculum every 3 years. So we are a 21-year-old brand, and now we are in the 7th iteration of our curriculum. And what that has ensured is that we don't carry any old practices, any outdated practices in our preschool curriculum, right? We have invested heavily in our preschool curriculum. And what you see now, what Dr. Anita Madan spoke about, Eunoia is the 7th iteration of the curriculum. In addition to that, we have now Home Buddy has been a part of the learning journey of the child for the last 3 years. And Home Buddy is an app which actually makes the learning journey of the child very, very visible to the parent. Yeah. And you can participate along with the child and contributes to the child's learning journey through Home Buddy. So I would say these are the two big differentiators for EuroKids over any other preschool in the market. Murlidharan Chakkingal is asking, your school admission at Palakkad is closed for this year. No, actually our school admission would not be closed. Yeah. If you're unable to get through to the school, then you can leave your mobile number and your name in the chat box, and I will have someone from our team reach out and get in touch with you so that we can help you with the admission at EuroKids Palakkad.
I think we've answered all the questions there.
Yeah. If you have any other questions, we will be conducting this webinar on a weekly basis. Please do attend the Saturday webinars, and if there are any other questions, we'll be happy to take them on. Asha Shri says, good evening, my son will be 3.9 years old in June 2023. Will he be eligible for LKG?
Yes.
Yeah. So the answer is yes, your child will be eligible for LKG. What's the fee structure structure for play school, junior KG and senior KG. So fee structure, I've answered this question a couple of times earlier also. There is no one fee structure across the country. Fee structures varies from city to city, location to location. So please reach out to your nearest EuroKids. All the details will be available on Google. If you go to Google and type EuroKids near me, you will get the addresses of all the EuroKids in the vicinity. You can call them, speak to them, make an inquiry, go visit, and find out all the details regarding the fees, timings, batches, etc. Yeah. Great. One last question from Atul Pandey. Preschool admission is open for 12 months. How academic year are done, sir? So Atul, there are broadly the country is split into two zones, North India and East of India. The academic year starts in April and ends in March. South and West, basically Maharashtra and the entire South India, the academic year starts in June and carries on till May of the next year, right? So these are the two academic years that we follow, depending upon which part of the country you are in. If you're in, say, the north or east of India, then your academic year starts in April. But preschools, by definition, will take children all throughout the year. So even though the academic year starts in April, if your child is too young, then we can put your child into a preschool. You can put your child into a preschool in May, June, July, August, September. We also have midterm admissions which start in the middle of the year. So all these options are available to you. Yeah. Balasubramaniam says, is there any EuroKids school near Chitradurga? I'm not aware of immediately whether there is one. So, but if you go to Google and search, you will get the answer to that. Is EuroKids student can be transferred if parents' job is transferred? Absolutely, Nitin. In fact, that's one of the big benefits of being a part of the EuroKids network, that you can, because we are present in 350 cities across the country, if you get transferred from Pune to Bangalore or Bangalore to Pune or Chennai to Bangalore, all you need to do is go and take an admission in the nearest EuroKids in the city that you're getting transferred to, and automatically the fee adjustment will happen between your previous EuroKids and the new EuroKids. Atul Pandey is asking, what about if kids take admission in January, February? So if you take admission in January, February, we're talking about the integrated program, right? So you start now, you do 3 months of the integrated program, and your child automatically gets promoted to the next grade and starts in the next grades come April or June. So that's what the integrated program is designed for. Okay, I think we seem to have answered about 50 questions, and there doesn't seem to be any more questions. So thank you very much to all the parents who joined us for this webinar today. The recording of this webinar will be available on YouTube. You can go and watch it there again. If you have any further questions, queries, please reach out to your nearest EuroKids in the vicinity of where you live, and they'll be happy to take your questions and answer any queries you might have about the program, timings, and anything else you might have. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.